Okay. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Monday, August 31st, 2020, and I have a really special guest coming in, from across the country, but she's from one of my favorite states. Anyways, I up there. It's New York. In New York, I love New York. My mother and my family from New York. I'm a surrogate kind of New Yorker because I know upstate, I know downstate, I know all the places. I have family in Buffalo and West Seneca and all the way down to New York City. So I love the whole state itself. And she is an organizer and she does other stuff too. She's like me. We don't just do one thing. We do several things. But Organize You for Life is the website for the organizing stuff. We're going to talk about all different things that she's doing right now because things have changed so much out there and things are changing. And she's going along with the punches. My friend, Debbie Ginsberg. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, and thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too. I love it. We were talking beforehand and everything is great.
Yeah.
Before we start, I do my thanks and gratitude. I believe you should always give thanks and live in gratitude. And I just done this for the last 5 years of the show, 300-something episodes. I do this all the time. And I want to give a special shout out and gratitude and thanks to my grandson, Rylan, whose birthday's in a few days, and he turns 14 and begins high school. I don't even know where. I don't know where.
Years old.
And he's like my baby, Debbie. He was my baby. He's not a baby anymore. It's just crazy. He's almost half my height too. So Rylan Tyler, happy birthday to you and many, many returns. And I just want to give a shout out to all the folks in Los Angeles who are on the front lines because it's really bad out here with the COVID stuff. I get tested out at Dodger Stadium. And it's been the folks there are doing such a great job. It is a well-oiled machine. As an organizer, it's very organized. And it's not the nose test, which I was looking forward to. It's the swab. But it's very organized. The tests are out the next day. You're not waiting 24 years to get tested. The workers out there, the heat right now is crazy out here. So my heart goes out to them and what they're going through to help us be safe. So that's my thanks and gratitude to them. So that's why I say that there.
Very, very nice.
Yes, it's really hot. It's really hot out here right now. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? I live near the water, and it's still hot.
Yeah.
So first of all, how are you doing, Debbie, during this whole last 5 months of the COVID change?
So I'm really the type of person my mother used to say to me, when you have lemons, make lemonade. So really, truly, as soon as it hit, and the whole world around me was going kind of crazy. And I was saying, opportunity. How can I turn this into an opportunity? So with regards to organizing, I made all my clients go virtual. Now, I lost some along the way because some had said, I don't want to do it this way or whatever. However, I really was able to build up a whole, program that I started face-to-face. And this program has led me into a whole new avenue of organizing, which is the organizing of the mind. Mm-hmm. So if you want to hear more, should I tell you more about it?
About that. No, I'm writing this down. That's good. So I want to start first before even that. Because I have a lot of clients who are like, we're not going to do virtual. I need you in person, blah, blah. We'll just wait till the COVID's over or whatever. So you said you lost a few, but the ones that did say yes, was it an easy sell, or did you really have to kind of?
They were. Some of them were like, I can't go on. I have to do something. So those who were a transfer from the real physical organizer, where I did the work for them. So we did literally. It's been a lot of fun. I'm still working with somebody tonight on it. So I would show her, how do you pack? How do you organize your documents? And you know what? Organizing documents virtually means that I'm helping her help herself. You know the expression, the greatest quote, which is, if you give a fish to a fisherman, he has a meal for a night. But if you teach a fisherman how to fish, he can feed himself forever. That is my new policy. So I am literally not doing the physical anymore. I'm stopping the physical, and my clients, thank God, not only are they seeing the benefit, I'm getting more clients than I had before.
Wow.
The word is out.
Because it's still, you're still getting stuff done. They're still hands-on. You're still there to cheer them on and guide them. So it's still, you're just not physically.
Focus.
Yeah.
Think about the focus. They have to focus. When I would go to people's homes, phone would ring, they'd get the phone. They would be interrupted by something, their minds would go elsewhere. So here, they're facing me. They're not coming up with as many excuses to find other reasons why they can't work with me at that moment. Yeah, and it's also sort of, So that was sort of, that developed, and I started encouraging.
So you say, okay, so I'm saying, so you had them, you say, okay, we're ready to do this. Debbie, we're going to do this with you. And then, so then I want you to step by step so we'll know what you did, because this is really good. You said, okay, now we're going to be virtual. So you said you started a program called Face to Face, you call it?
No, not a program, just sort of like I coining the concept of when you do work face to face, there's better focus.
Okay.
Now, I kind of want to take you to where I really am.
Okay.
So I've been doing this for 12 years. And what's happened is I noticed, especially among my colleagues, I could never understand how come they always have repetitive business, and I don't. And that's because I really teach organizing and life management skills. I teach these skills there, therefore it takes time. It really takes time before you can have intent. Oh yeah, I'm going to get up and I'm going to diet this morning, but try to implement it. How long does it take people to implement these things, So I do teach them, and I call it my cha-cha dance. We take one step forward, one step back, and I teach them another. I'm watching that they implement. That is the key. So I happen to work with the population of people who are developmentally disorganized. They have, I didn't say it right, but it's really developmentally disabled, ADHD. I work with low intelligence, but I also work with the chronically disorganized, which you and I are familiar with.
Yeah.
So what happens is each of my programs that I work with them is like a threefold, and it's all specific and custom to them. So the first thing I'll do is an assessment on their focus. So I got accredited to basically to interpret these assessments. And then I can offer them either my educational one-to-one, like teacher to student, where I'm teaching them the tips, the techniques, the how-tos. The how-tos are so huge in organizing. And the third is, and this is going to blow your mind, I do neurocognitive training online. Okay. Neurocognitive training, neurotechnology, neuroscience has done so much work to understand the brain that now they have programs by which you can train people. It not only helps people who have organizing problems, it helps people with dementia, it helps people like me, just to help me have better cognitive skills, better attention span, less impulsivity. Huge. Helps you with your distractions. So all of us have it to some degree.
Yeah.
The question is, how much does it create a problem with your functioning during the day?
Yeah.
And if you start to see that your functioning is not in line with what you want, that's when people come to me and say, okay, I have a problem. I'm not happy with where I'm at.
And I know a lot of people are doing a lot of neuro practitioning and stuff. There's a lot of stuff in the neurosciences world that's happening nowadays in other areas of life. I'm seeing it more and more.
And you know why? Because it is a beautiful time in our lives that we now have a solution. I mean, neurocognitive training actually has been proven by Tufts University in our particular program that I use to give permanence of change. Permanence. That doesn't mean you go from 0 to 100. That doesn't mean.
Right.
But if you have a 5% increase in your attention span, that's a big wow. Huge wow.
Yeah.
So that's what we aim for. But what I do is I combine it with my lessons. And therefore, they're getting tips and techniques for 5-10 minutes, good for the attention span, neurocognitive training for half an hour. We're good to go.
Wow. Okay.
And I meet with them twice a week.
Oh, you twice a week?
Every client has to meet with me twice a week for half an hour to 40 minutes.
And is it because you need frequency to kind of, that's or what is the thought behind it?
Yeah, cognitive training is an 80-hour program.
Okay.
And I'm working with somebody now, we're well into our second year, like 2.5 years already.
Yeah.
So I happen to help people each stage because, right, if I have so my best was this one student, he came into a double curriculum college, which means it's not just the English, it was also religion for him. And he came in as a B student. Everything he was able to figure out for high school started to fall apart in college. So he started to slip. His mom posted she wanted an organizer of a certain ilk, somebody who she could relate to. I contacted her and she said to me, I want you to organize my son. He has ADHD. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't really have training for that. I don't lie to people. I just want you. She goes, wait, let me ask you a few questions. So she continues to ask me questions. I answer. She goes, no, you are the right person. She goes, stop, learn it, and come back to me. If I tell you,
okay,
I stopped my business, everything, 3 weeks. I didn't do any of my businesses, none of my services. I studied this like you would have, like I was taking a course.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was I said, oh my goodness. We were trained by ICD, Institute of Challenging Disorder. I was trained, right, I know, I was trained by NAPO and the National Association of Professional Organizers. All of the training plus my real life experience came together and I went, I could do this. So what happened was I asked the dean of the school, it's an all-male college, if he would permit me to sit in on a class, which is a huge, huge request. And he wrote back, he said, yes, under the circumstances, yes. One class, I didn't know what I was doing. One class I saw this young man and I saw my entire curriculum, as they say, not like my life passed before my eyes, an entire curriculum.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
He ended up graduating earlier than he expected, and he got on Dean's list. Huge.
That is huge. Now I want to ask you, so okay, because talk about that for a second. We'll get to the more of the programs, but in the second that you realize this is something for all of us to learn. A lot of times, our experiences are good for what we're doing currently. Like they do things do add up when you live life, and whatever trainings you have. I was in other fields, and I'm finding it still applies. My nursing skills, my insurance skills, my group skills, my listening skill, all things I did in other worlds, they all work, towards today.
I agree with you. I think seasoned organizers who've had other things under their belt bring a lot to the table. So I owned the company for 20 years, and I had to, and when you own your own company and you create the systems from scratch, you're creating an organizing system. So it's not surprising to me that while I had my own, by the way, like you, one career isn't enough for me. I'm stimulated by many, right? So while I was doing my own career in this, I was also asked to start a school program. It was, we have it out here. It's the, I think it's called the UPK. It was United Public School Kindergarten for free. So I started that office. I was called into several schools. And then just recently, a real estate office called me up and said, could you do what you did for my brother for me? So I said, sure. So I'm on this temporary gig, which is what organizers do. Yeah,
we do, yeah.
So I set aside 2 days for my virtual and then 3 days for that, only because I need to get up and out. Sometimes sitting, I'm from 10 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night on my Tuesdays. That's a long time.
That's a long time. I did it the other day and I was like, I didn't see outside. I didn't leave my computer. I think I had some lunch at one point, but it was like at my desk. I know, that's a habit.
I have a Tuesday, Friday, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday, Sunday. I'm working a lot on my, on this program, the neurocognitive. There are 2 or 3 who are not on it. No, I don't put everybody on. If you don't need it, I don't put you on it.
Yeah.
But for those who need it, I do.
So, okay. So speaking of past stuff, are you still with NAPO or ICD? Are you with them, either of them?
Oh, sure. NAPO, yes. ICD, I'm not going to say why. It's a public radio show.
It's just us talking. Nobody listens to this.
I think ICD is wonderful. But honestly, when I taught myself, I didn't feel that they were giving me what I could give myself. I'm a researcher by nature.
Yeah.
If you can research and look at the scientific studies and you could do all this work, and I went to the ADHD convention, and everybody there, every organizer's become a coach. No. I'm not going to ask you how you feel. I'm going to tell you how you feel.
I love the honesty. This show's always honest. I've said things on here, and I don't care. But the point is, you're just saying that you didn't get enough out of that, so that's fine. That's everybody's choice to have.
I told them. They know. I told them.
They know, and I know Sue and Alice and all them, and they're all great. The thing is, you try, but that's the thing though. You try out programs. You do read. There's all these things you should do anyway, and then make your own decisions. That's kind of the point.
I personally have tremendous respect for the ICD.
Yeah.
I personally know Alice, and I think that her work and involvement is amazing. We're part of the same professional organizers of Long Island group.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I know a lot of those folks there too. Oh, yeah.
Right.
They've been on the show. They've all been on the show. So, I mean,
I bet. She's really she was the anchor. She was the founder and the anchor throughout. She has done a tremendous amount for this whole service and institution. She really has, single-handedly.
yeah, I totally agree.
We look up to her, but at the same time, as individuals, we learn differently.
Yeah.
Some of us have strengths in being self-taught.
Yeah, that's true. It can be. Yeah, it can
That's
be.
my strength. I mean,
I think it's very cool. Though. I just like the thought of you. I want people to get this out there, that you just, you try things out, but also your life experience and things that you go through can also add to your jobs, can also add to that's education, life education. I mean, it's like, don't discount anything. You never know.
I'm with you on that. Don't discount. Don't tell me, oh, I can't apply for that job. I don't know what to do. Say yes first. Research it. See if you can handle it. Then make a decision. That's what happened with me with the real estate guy. I never worked inside a real estate office. I went out and sold a few houses in my life, just a few. And I said to him, how am I going to learn? He goes, I don't know. You have to figure it out for yourself. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure. Is that going to work? And it was grueling for the first month, grueling. But I got through it. And now I'm looking at it and saying, okay, not a piece of cake, because there's a lot of things going on, but I definitely can handle it. And I think that test at this stage of my life was huge for me. It was huge for my self-confidence, because as we get a little older, we start to worry about our brain cells, and we start to worry about, mom got Lewy body dementia at the same age,
Right. Yeah.
So I want to know that I can. And
yeah. And I know I do. I just, in Hollywood, they know me as I always say I'm one of the old guys. And I say that with pride. I don't look great, and I'm not worried about that. But in Hollywood, they tend to tell people over 40, you're done. Good night, everybody. Just go lay down. Thanks for your service. Bye-bye. No, you and I, we're still out there. And there's some great, amazing people.
It's really on them, because they've destroyed their own industry because of it.
Thank you. And I'm saying
we know that the seasoned people they're much better.
And in organizing especially, oh my goodness, there's so many amazing women who are of a certain age who are still doing amazing work.
In their 70s.
I know.
And when I say to people, I stop the physical, but I don't want to stop the business.
Yeah.
Now, for the same period of time, I was also helping people to move. That was my major business. I would help downsize them, prepare them for the move, which is an organized move, is what I would say. But that was way too physical.
Right. So talk me now through. Okay, so I'm your client.
Okay.
So for some folks, I've had people on here talk about virtual organizing in there, but I want to hear what your take is for you. I'm a client, so on virtual organized, kind of talk me through kind of a session. I mean,
yes, absolutely, my pleasure. Okay.
I got some papers and stuff.
Okay, there we go. I was just going to start with that. Documents are really the most important.
Papers are everything, aren't papers everything? It's like everybody's stuff, papers.
Yes, but guess what? The point is that so many of the papers you have are just useless. You don't need them anymore. So
I agree.
So there are two things one has to know. One, the garbage can is a great filing cabinet.
Okay, got it right here. Yep.
Garbage can is great. And then
my God, it's so funny. Let me show you, girl. My garbage can is full.
That's right. Now. I had to dump mine out yesterday. It was ridiculous because I just keep, look, we have to do for ourselves what we do for our clients. We must keep organizing. We must keep downsizing. There's just too much. The old expression, if you buy something new, you got to take something out. It is very true. If you don't, you will have too much.
And I get sent paper stuff all the time. I'm like, can we just like send an email? Can we just like, I don't want paper. I
I had a problem with emails. There's just way too many, and it's hard to get rid of everything because sometimes you need it. But okay, so let's say we're working together, and I would say, okay, let's look at the first page. Let's look, what is it? And how can, do you need it? Do you have it documented somewhere? Have you scanned it in already? Okay, now if you've already scanned it in, or you have a paper copy that's inside a notebook, or some people do double, triplicate of the same paper, they're so afraid they're going to lose it.
Yes.
So we go through that. And then we talk about the filing. Now, I have a very specific filing methodology.
Okay.
I wish I knew I was going to do this. I could
Oh, no, it's just all spontaneous. Yeah, my show is spontaneous. I'm just like,
then I'm going to spontaneously get up and come.
Okay, do it, girl, do it. I'm in. I'm all in. Do it. Yeah, this is okay. So, folks who are listening, she is getting up right now.
So here we are.
Okay, I love it. Okay.
Here we are. Okay. So this is my I was written up in the New York Times because of my filing system. You see this little tote?
Yeah,
okay.
I love it. I'm showing you mine. Mine is not a tote, but it's one of those little.
I'm gonna tell you why a tote is a little bit better, because it's neat. It's all on one level.
I like it.
And what we do is, this is called the temporary filing. This is the stuff like mail comes in or something for the accountant. So what happens with this is I have my clients go through their mail. We do mail management first.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then we create these Pentaflex folders, which are the ones, as everyone knows. I mean, I don't want everyone to see what I have here,
yeah,
but okay.
Business.
So here, there's Pentaflex.
I like those. Okay, yeah.
And I also vary into colors. So some of my clients not only want just filing, they want to color code it.
Okay, got it.
So there are systems that the best system ever is no longer in exist. The best system.
What is it?
I'll tell you. 1 second.
Okay. The best system ever. I'm like, it's not even, I want to see. I want to see
if I have it anymore.
Okay. Best system ever.
Whoever wants to get into a business, this is the business to get into. The home filing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know what I love about it? First of all, there's a book. I'm so sad he went out of business.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Okay. Wow.
Then when you open it up, it's fantastic. Everything is color coded, personal, category, everything red.
Oh.
So when I deal with my clients, and it also is in alphabetical order. So it's color coded and in alphabetical order.
I like it.
Green is money. Blue is insurance and taxes. Blue.
Okay.
Makes sense, right? Because the country does blue. And then purple, which the women love, is lifestyle.
I love it. Okay, I love it.
So then what they give you in here, which I might not have too many of, not only did they give you, here we go, this is perfect. They give you the Pentaflex.
The tabs and stuff, yeah.
And then they give you for the folder, stickies.
Okay, I like it. I do, I like it.
Okay, so if anybody wants to call me, I will be happy to show them this.
Okay.
And they can produce it themselves, and I'm sure they can present.
Okay.
You know?
I'll put it on the
that's
box.
the story with that. Here, loving it. The home.
I do. I love it. Okay.
They used to sell it in the Container Store. They're rolled out. So if this is my temporary, right? This is the go-to.
Got it.
Well, most of my clients will then have right away billing. It'll be the incoming mail, outgoing mail, and what I tell them is when it gets too thick that you can't even fit anything into the tote, it's time to file.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, because you can't write it down. You have difficulty. We always need cues to do things. But by doing it this way in the small little tote, it's small enough that things don't get too carried away.
Like that.
Now, when you're getting your mail, okay, when you're getting your bills, your credit card bills, how many times people are losing money? It's not a matter of just paying for it. It's a matter of recognizing what's on that bill that might be a tax deduction.
Yes. Yes.
So then what we do is I encourage my clients, pay the bill, but then give it to the accountant. Highlight it if you want to, but put it in the accountant folder, which is right here in the tote. Okay? So bills come in, and we all know that a lot of people struggle with when to pay the bills. So of course we talk about the scheduling and all that, but the best is if we have it right here, you're not running all over the place. And people have a problem with, if it's not sitting in front of their face, they don't feel comfortable. I'm going to forget about it. But here in the tote, it's clear, you could see. So that's that system. So what I do is, with my clients, I will go through all the paperwork they have, and we make piles. They can work on their bed, they can work on a desk, what goes where. The key thing is that before we end, I make sure everything goes where it's supposed to go.
Okay.
You never leave a client and say, okay, have fun with your piles. No.
No.
So there's the immediate, that's this. Then there's the temporary filing, which is, can you see this? My mobile cart.
I see it. I
Can
like
you,
it.
I don't think you can see it. Here
I
it
can
is.
see it. I can see it.
Oh, you see? Okay. So my mobile cart is what I promise you, my clients love it because that's the temporary, that's like this is immediate to intermediate. And then I always tell them taxes in your file cabinet.
Right.
That's where you put your tax returns. That's where you put everything you need. After a certain number of years, if you don't have bills or credit card things that have nothing to do with the accountant, you don't need to keep them. Okay.
No.
So by setting them up with that system that I had, and everything's color coordinated, and it's in alphabetical order, and they have a book in case they should forget, it's a really good system.
Yeah. I like that. I like things to be easy. I like things people don't want to think that much. You don't want 10 steps to anything. I think more than 2 steps, you're done.
Right, and anyone who's challenged by it, you really want to make it easy.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that completely. I know folks that more than 2 steps, and they're like, right. They're lost. Or they don't do it.
How fast it is. So mail comes in, I pull out my mobile card, boom, done. Put it where it belongs. I don't have too many filing piles. So sometimes life gets busy, and I then end up with a filing pile. How easy? Boom, 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 boom. Like I always tell people, think of it like you're playing a deck of cards. Associate your filing with fun. Put on the headphones. Do something interesting.
I say it all the time. Play music, whatever. I say it all the time.
That's why you do it. You got to associate with good fun.
I say that all the time, but I like the fact that it's kind of like, because now I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I mean, most of my stuff's ready because I always like to be on top of it, but I like that. I don't have very many piles anymore either. My piles are gone because I just kind of try to handle it when I handle it. When it comes in, I try to handle it then. But like you said, you can't always handle it right away. I have one spot where everything's at. I think it's because also I don't look around. I always say that organizers are the laziest people. I say that
you know what they said when we were at convention? They said, "How many of you would like your clients to see your apartment or your office right now?" And everyone like,
right, exactly right. But no, my stuff is like, it's good. I mean, I say we like having systems in place to make it easy for us. So even as organizers, even if something's you have a pile, you have a place to put it. We know.
I know. You know what? Organizing wasn't a part of me. I had to learn it.
Which I tell all the time, it can be a learned skill.
It is a learned skill. So what happened was my husband was extremely organized at that time. And just in terms of, I don't know, I was like so frustrated. I wasn't learning so well. So what I did was I called my sister-in-law, who's the daughter of my mother-in-law, who used to catch the dust before it reached the ground.
Oh, hey, go on, girl. One of those. I know a few of those. I had a grandmother like that.
Even her squirrels on outside her window were in order.
Yeah, I know people like that. I do know people just like that. Yes.
So she basically said, Debbie, one step at a time. Don't try to do too much. Just do one thing at a time. And that's when the whole thing, we always learn. We all get so many of those little totes. Take the handle totes, leave one in every room, and every time you see something that's in one of those rooms that don't belong, play the game. What here doesn't belong? Go back to Sesame Street. And if it doesn't belong, put it in the tote. When the tote gets full, go around the house, put it where it belongs.
I agree.
And if it belongs in the garbage, good, better. Most of the time, it ends up in the donation box.
Well, I just want to add for I'm in California and we eat avocados and stuff. For my folks who are a little more granola.
In New York, we're big avocado eaters.
I know, but they always call us Californians like we're crazy. But I just want to mention, for my California peeps, she also means if you recycle, you put things in recycling bins. It's also recycling. I always say recycling, donation, trash. Some things are just trash, like just trash. Not everything can be recycled, but I gotta make sure I say that. For some folks, yes, they're like, I do recycle. There are recycled.
We do big recycling out here too. I actually used to affiliate myself with these junk companies, and I said to them, you can't work with me unless you promise me, one, you will take the plastic and do what you got to do. You'll take the you'll take the metal to the metal place.
Yes,
tell them where it was, and then I said, everything should go first past the eyes of the donation centers. If they take it, and then the trash. So they had to do that to work with me. So we were very big on that here too.
Like that. Make sure I say that. I don't want to get yelled at. But no, and the same thing. I love that also. I think the point is there are piles for things that will be leaving your home or leaving your office or leaving your garage, and it's okay. And so that's the point. It's like Doesn't matter what size. I don't care if it's 3 or 4 things that leave your house. That's still 3 or 4 things out of your house. I'm like, just do it.
A big step though, right? This step of intent and implementation, you got to do it. Like, you don't want one room that's full of all this stuff. So how are you going to implement it?
So for you, it's starting with the neuro.
Yeah, technology.
Yes.
The neurocognitive training.
Cognitive, I get the word out. Neurocognitive training.
Implementation goes for all of us. I mean, I have, I'm going to have those boxes for my grandchildren. I'm going to ship down things to where they live and all that. And then all of a sudden you have 5 or 6 boxes. Oh, I have all this stuff that's supposed to go into my car to go to the donation center. So how do you do it? So again, it has to be, what gets to a point where it's just too much. So if you have it in one space, okay, we don't really want it to be that it's so crowded that you can't even get to it anymore.
Right.
It's got to be that you always have a path. But when you start to see it accumulate, the queue. When I see that I have 2 or 3 bags for donation, then I put it into the trunk of my car. When I see I have 5 or 6 boxes, then I say, wait, I got to put it in garbage. I got to recycle the boxes. So there has to be a when I, then I. When I have this happen, then I do this. Okay, that's part of cognitive therapy, actually. And
I like that because I'd have a lot of clients. I had one today. She was like, "Oh, see, now I got 5 bags of what was it? Tupperware, old Tupperware." And
can't donate it. Can't donate it.
As I told her, I said, now, so now it's the whole thing. I said, girl, let's get rid of it now. Let's just do it. And so now, but you're right. She was like, oh, I should do it now because I just like 3 bags of it now. It's taking up space.
That's right. Exactly. So we set ourselves into this limitation. We put ourselves in that concept of, okay, what's going to be the cue? So that's why organizers are so important, because we teach you how to cue. We teach you when is it a limit. Okay. And then you've got to do it. Now, if you don't have a donation center near you, like we have one really close, fine. Pick up a phone, call a donation center, get on the computer, say donationpickup.com. That's all you have to do, donationpickup.com. You'll see who comes to your house. It's easy. Now, when you're in an apartment building, it's not so easy because the apartment buildings have their own, they have certain restrictions about it. So then you have to go to some donation center, okay? Or spend the money, call in one of these junk guys and say, would you take this to one of my donation centers? They'll do it.
I think the point that you're making that I always say all the time is that you have to do the work. We're not going to sugarcoat it for you and go, it's all easy and breathe. No, you have to do the work. You have to this is your life. This is your stuff. You got to do the work to get there. And I think people need to realize that there's some little work involved in it, some elbow grease you have to put in there, and to get yourself organized and decluttered and edited and all those words we use. But there is, on your part, you have to show up for yourself, right?
And I always tell my clients, do you think I'm different than you?
Right.
Do you think that I, as an organizer, we know now from the brain isn't interested in activity. We have to force the brain to work. We have to force the brain to go outside of our comfort zone.
Right.
And how do we do that? It's hard to do that because it's the same concept of like starting to get up and go, exercise or this or that. We apply it to dieting, everything. It's all habit. We have to change our habit. We have to rewire our brain. You know neuroplasticity?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so neuroplasticity, the concept of rewiring the brain, and the brain can be rewired, but it takes catalysts. It takes catalysts of action to force the brain to change. And some of it is as simple as just do it. The old, who was it? Ronald Reagan's wife, Nancy. She would say, wasn't her, right? She said, just do it.
Yeah.
And everyone said, oh, Nike. No, she was so right. You just do it. Or you schedule it. Make a date with yourself on the calendar. Say, today I'm going to just make sure the donations get out.
That's it.
15 minutes. 15 minutes a day. You get it done. Boom, done.
Now, also, people, I got to run an errand to the store. Is there a Salvation Army or Goodwill on the way there?
Right. Exactly.
With you.
Put it together with something else, 100%.
But here's the problem, kids. Don't put it in your trunk and then leave it there for like 10 years. I mean, I find people like, I was going to take it, and then I got distracted. I'm like, no, have the intent to go right there and do it, because I'm like, you don't want anything in your trunk forever, too. A lot of us in LA, we live in our cars in LA. That's a big thing. So I'm always doing a lot of car cleaning.
Oh,
A
wow.
lot of car decluttering in Los Angeles. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we live in our cars out here. Oh my goodness, very
We
much
do
so.
too, but I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, there are a few cars that pass by and I want to stick my sticker on it, but I won't do it, you know.
Do it,
But
do
you know
it.
what? For the, it's not so nice. But for the most part, I think that you have to also accept the fact that if you prefer to have somebody come pick it up by
Then
calling a
do it.
donation, do it.
Right.
Don't be
No,
ashamed. No one
no
says,
guilt.
there's no card that says I did it, I cheated. There's no cheating.
No, don't feel
You,
guilty.
no guilt, no shame, no nothing.
Well,
Do it.
well, especially nowadays, Debbie, because of COVID,
Yeah,
if you don't feel comfortable going somewhere, that's great. Then have them come out and they will pick it up for you.
they
Most
sure
places
will.
Yeah.
They will. So that's the answer. And I really, really want to address. Let's talk about the shame.
Yes,
Let's
please,
talk about
let's get rid of it.
two ways, two directions of shame. One, you are embarrassed by what you don't do, and you're embarrassed by what you do. Okay? So when you're embarrassed by what you don't do, you tend to then start to minimize your life. You don't have friends. You don't want your kids to have friends in the house. It becomes a very, very big domino effect of affectation on your family and everything around you. You pretty much put yourself into a box
Yeah.
by having a shame. And then the second thing is the shame of what you do. I chose to do it this way. I thought this would be easier. Whose business is it anyway? Don't ever compare yourself to the next person. And that moves me right into the most important thing I would like to say to people.
Telling.
Each of us have to have our own personal best. We cannot compare ourselves to anyone else. How could you possibly compare yourself? But everybody does. How does she do it? How does she have the 5 kids and she works full time?
Right, the house looks great, and she finds.
Yeah, she's always dressed to the pits. Okay,
Right.
So my best story is I had one child, and I was friends with a woman who had 3. She had triplets. She was always coiffed. Her face was made up. You could tell my age when I say coiffed. Her face was made up.
I love that word. I love it. I love that word.
And she's rolling the babies with a big smile on her face. I'm old. My hair is in my face. I'm like slovenly, you know, like, and I'm saying, this is not fair. How does she do it? And then I realized, obviously, she might be sleeping at night. I wasn't with my children. She might be eating better nutrition. Maybe I wasn't at that time. Our bodies, our minds, our beings are different. So we have to accept it and say, I don't care what she is. I need to try to work with myself to reach my personal best, because every day we have a different personal best.
And the thing is, we should not compare. People do it all the time, and you never know truly what people are doing on the outside or on the inside. Anyway, you just don't know.
You have no idea.
Yep.
Yeah, that woman with the 3 kids, for all I know, she had a babysitter she used all day long, and this was her little treat. And she went out all day, nails done, and her hair done. We don't know.
We don't know.
I want to segue now into one other thing, personal best. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is a myth. There is no such thing as perfectionism. And you know how we got there? Because our schools, our parents, our religious institutions, everyone said to us, you have to be perfect. You've got to get the best grade. Guess what? You don't, and you could still be successful. More importantly, you need the emotional intelligence. You need to understand the settings that you're in. You need to be able to grab onto what you do know well and what you can deal with. The minute you get into perfectionism, you set yourself up for failure.
I took the word perfect out of my vocabulary. I say in all my trainings, I go, the word perfect is not in my vocabulary. Any form of it, it's gone, because it's all the perfect time, the perfect, there's none of that. It's all a myth. There is no perfect anything. You'll never get there.
But the perfectionism causes procrastination.
It does.
The strong perfectionism and procrastination is a very big problem. So when I say to people who have tremendous procrastination problems, I'll say, let's turn this back. Do you know, and I have a whole bunch of survey questions. So do I really describe, I said there are many different descriptions of perfectionism, and I go through it in procrastination. And most people relate to a perfectionist and therefore say, but I could never get it right, so I'm not going to even bother. No. That's not going to work in my school. So
No.
what basically we do is we break it down for them.
Yeah.
We make it so that they understand there is no such thing as perfectionism. Who's perfect? Go ahead. Who's perfect? Who's
Funny.
think of everybody in the world who's perfect. Nobody.
Right.
Einstein had problems. Everybody.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm always like, no, I just because you'll just never get where you want to go because
Never.
the perfectionists just keep chasing it. They'll be chasing it. They'll never be satisfied. You can't celebrate any of the victories. You can't. It just causes problems. It's a hindrance.
It's a hindrance. And if you say to yourself, I have to collect all the tools that are necessary for me to do this job, you're never going to do it because you're going to keep having excuses.
Right.
Now, there's something called what's it called? A procrastinator, I think it's called, where if somebody like me gets things done before it has to be done.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you tell me to be on the Zoom at 5, I'm already out there trying at 4:45, you know? So what happens with the procrastinator, the person who is doing their best to be ahead of the ball? So we make mistakes, and a lot of them, because we might rush, we might not think things through, we may lose out, like we'll pay our bills and then take money out of our account and lose interest.
Yeah.
There's a whole, so we really don't want perfection or procrastination or procrastination or. So what do we want? We want you to simply live.
Yeah.
We want you to simply accept yourself for who you are and say, oh, today I made my bed and I made a cup of coffee. Yay.
Right.
Because if that's what you did, organizers will cheer you on. That's fabulous.
My motto is small steps lead to large rewards. I always say that. I think any step is a step.
It's a step.
Any step. No steps is not a step. So you don't do
Right.
anything, nothing happens, right?
I have a client who I work with, and she's like, when we started to do let's do 3 things. Just put down 3 things you have to accomplish. She goes, no, I have like 10 things to do. I said, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been able to do 10 things in a day? No.
Yeah.
No.
Do 3. You'll get there.
So you have to, so you have to peel away at the thoughts and the old habits and the old thinking and the old mechanism. And that's why working with the brain, organizing the brain, teaching people what was, we never say negative or positive, what didn't work, old habits versus new productive habits. That kind of, when NAPO chose the word productivity, at first I didn't like it. Now I love it. They were right on the mark. It's all about productivity, which is positive.
It is. And I fully agree with that also. I just think people need to understand that there is no shame. There is no guilt. You got where you got. You are where you are, but you can always get out of it. It's like you're not stuck forever. There's always a way out, and organizers like you are a source to help guide them out. You don't have to. You're not stuck. You may feel stuck, but you're not stuck.
Not stuck at all.
That's like
and the freckles on my face, which I don't know if it's showing through. Okay. I always say I'm born with it.
Right.
Could I go for cosmetic surgery? Yeah. No.
I agree.
No. These are mine. This is my distinction. This is what makes me different than everyone else, which is why, going back to that beginning of like when the world got into COVID and everything was falling apart, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's your problem, not my problem.
I like it. So any organizers watching this, take lead. I mean, that's do exactly what she's doing, but figure out, and that's something about COVID I am liking. People are finding ways. They're being creative. We're being forced to think, as we're going through this all together. This is the unique situation in the world. Not just a few people, we're all going through it. So we have to be creative. And I mean, obviously I'm creative, you're creative. And so folks out there, be creative. Whatever it is.
Think outside the box.
Outside the box. And what?
But I have clients where I have to actually tell them they can't, they can't figure things out. By the way, you know about mind mapping? You're familiar with mind mapping? I use it a
Yeah, I
lot.
do a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I do a lot of mind mapping with my clients. So I use mind mapping, which is very quickly for the audience. It's where you take a plain piece of paper. In the middle of the paper, you write down the subject that's irking you, you're having a problem with, you can't get beyond. And then from there, like a family tree, you have branches, and then you spit out the thoughts that are in your head. How many times people can't go to sleep? They have too many thoughts in their heads. Put it on paper. Putting on paper does two things. You don't forget it, and two, you could just get it off your brain to relax the brain. So when we go through the mind mapping, I have them go through everything, and then they have STEM work from there and even further down, keeps going as they try to resolve the issue on paper.
Yeah.
And as we resolve the issue on paper, we see for ourselves, is it something it's doable? Can I control this? For instance, if you have someone who's in your life who's a constant source of negativity.
Yeah.
Okay, but they have to be in your life. Do you have to be negative?
No.
How do you disassociate? By learning that that's who they are and this is who you are. So this mind thing, all of these mind tips and techniques that we use to help people resolve issues goes for organizing too.
Yeah.
Because what stops us from organizing? Something we learned from parents. What stops us? I don't like to blame parents alone. You know,
right.
My mother was great. I walked over to my mother when I was in my 20s. I was having some anxiety issues, and I said, "Mom, did I ever have any trauma?" She goes, "Let me stop you from having 20 years of therapy." She goes, "It was all my fault."
And I love it. You're like, that's right, girl. I did it. It's me. You're like, well, that's not it either. But I get what you mean. The point is that we do pick up our cues and our habits from our parents, grandparents, people around us, friends,
schools, everything that influences you.
Media, I mean, everything. So
you're a sponge.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like not necessarily giving them all this blame, but just saying that you did learn stuff from people, and it informs how you walk through life.
And to bring the point home, they could be whoever they are. You could get all these things. Find yourself and learn that they could be like this, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to be like this. It could be like this. They don't have to take over your life. You don't have to continue to suffer, but you go here. Is there a little therapy in this? Is there a little? Yeah, but we are not therapists. All I do is help you in life management skills, not just organizing. I teach organizing and life management skills. And that's really what all organizers do without realizing it.
Yeah.
You are teaching life management skills.
You are. And that's what I could talk to you forever. That's right there, and that's perfect. And she's right. I totally agree with her. And I think I want to thank all the organizers out there who are doing this amazing work. You're doing God's work, and we're not just throwing stuff away. We do a lot more than that. And it's a very vast community with lots of different skill sets that are going on, like Debbie Ginsberg. Debbie, tell folks where they can find you if they want you for anything. Just tell them where they can find you.
Sure. So the phone number, 516-984-9365. So I'm on Long Island. Who cares? I do everything in the virtual. I can help you in California. I can help you.
You can. That's right. That's what's great about that. Yeah.
My mentor is in South Africa. So in terms of, I'm info at organize, the letter U, the digit 4, life.com.
Yes.
Organize You for Life. So of course that's my website too, organizeyouforlife.com. As a New Yorker, did I say that too fast?
No, I talk fast. Like you can't ask me.
Well, a lot of Californians have.
I know my mother's New Yorker. I grew up with that. So my grandmother, everybody. I mean, I talk fast myself. I go my New York side. My father's.
Yeah, that was slow for me.
I know. No, my father's side is Louisiana. They talk slow. My mother's side is New York. They talk fast. I talk fast.
My biggest problem is when I'm talking to people in the Midwest, I'm like, yeah, let's get to the, what are we saying here? Let's do it. But as a coach and all, and I'm not a coach, but for the neurotechnical stuff, neurocognitive, as well as organizing, everyone realizes I have tremendous patience. Yeah. Tremendous. You have to be slow, and you have
on television. I have to talk slower. As a host, I have to talk slower. So
of course,
they understand what I'm saying.
Yes, but I have to make sure my clients can follow. I have to know that they're in it with me, that they're on, if you talk like a teacher sometimes has an agenda, she's got to get to the next subjects. That's the opposite with organizers. We want you to be with us.
Yeah. Yeah, so I get that, but no, you're fine, girl. I don't care. I love my New Yorkers. I don't care. You talk fast. I don't care. Just slow down the speed on the video. I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr.'s are at James Lott Jr. social platforms. JLJ Media is on every streaming service, every social media platform. The Super Organizer Show is on every streaming service and YouTube.
Wow.
JLJ Media. This is 5 years and over 300 and something episodes. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I love doing the show very much. I love it, and we're heading into this basically the last half of the year. This last quarter of the year, so my heart goes out to everybody out there trying to figure out what's going on. That's just crazy out there. Debbie, thanks for being on the show. You have to come back.
Thanks for having me.
And everyone out there, please stay safe. Please stay safe. Have compassion and get organized.
Yes.